Have you ever heard of Comadre Fulozinha? She is often described as a young woman with long dark hair, shrouded in a mystery that both fascinates and intrigues. Her hypnotic gaze can either enchant or frighten those who cross her path. Considered a spiritual guardian of the forests, she fervently protects nature. However, beware. Those who disrespect the forest or invade her territory may fall victim to her pranks or even her severe punishments. But in the end, is Comadre Fulozinha a guardian of good or evil? Curious? Then stay with me as we unravel this enigmatic and mysterious tale together. Amidst the depths of the northeastern forests, where the whisper of the wind meets the murmur of the trees, one of the most intriguing figures of Brazilian folklore was born, the mysterious Comadre Fulozinha. They say she is more than a legend. She is the living spirit of the forest, a guardian who walks between the visible and the supernatural, protecting nature from all invaders. Her origin is as enigmatic as her figure, but the accounts agree in describing her striking appearance. A young woman with black hair, as long as the shadows at dusk, eyes as deep as the night, and an aura that blends delicacy with power. Comadre Fulozinha is the product of the meeting of worlds and beliefs. From indigenous traditions, she inherited a spiritual connection with nature. From African influences, the mystical strength and the ability to protect her territory with spells and charms, and from European roots, the traits of an enchanted figure that defies logic. This cultural syncretism shaped a unique entity that symbolizes the resilience of popular culture and harmony with the environment. But who is Comadre Fulozinha truly? To the people of the Sertão, she is much more than a tale to frighten the unwary. She is a constant presence, whose existence echoes in unexpected whistles and footprints that appear without explanation. Her essence reflects the strength of the forest, its fragility, and the need for protection in the face of human exploitation. She is not just a legend. She is a reminder that nature has its own voice, a voice that speaks through Comadre Fulozinha. This mystical figure captivates not only through her story, but through what she represents, an entity that unites generations around narratives that are both fascinating and terrifying. After all, who would dare to disrespect the laws of the forest and challenge Comadre Fulozinha? Her origin, intertwined with the struggles and histories of ancestral peoples, teaches us that even in the silence of the forest, there is someone who watches, protects, and demands respect. This is Comadre Fulozinha, the soul of the forest, the embodiment of mystery and natural strength. Imagine walking into a dense forest in the heart of northeastern Brazil, feeling the fresh air and hearing the whisper of leaves. Everything seems calm until a long, insistent whistle pierces the silence, sending chills down your spine. It's the warning of Comadre Fulozinha, the tireless guardian of the woods, watching your every step. They say no one enters her territory unnoticed, and any disrespect for the forest's rules will be severely punished. Comadre Fulozinha is not just a spirit, but the very voice of nature, vengeful and just. Her mission is clear: to protect the fauna and flora from all forms of exploitation. For hunters who dare invade her domain, she acts without hesitation. Some claim to have seen weapons mysteriously vanish, or hunting dogs suddenly lose their scent. Loggers have reported their axes breaking inexplicably, while the most unwary found themselves lost for days, unable to find their way back. Her mischievous acts go further. Her mystical touch is revealed in the famous Fulozinha knots, tangles she creates in the hair of those who dare to defy her. Both men and women who ignore the forest's rules wake up with their hair completely tangled, a punishment many interpret as a warning to never challenge the forest's guardian again. Some even say the knots can only be undone with a sincere prayer or an offering in her name. Folk tales tell that, if treated with respect, Comadre can even be generous. Farmers who care for the land with love and travelers who leave offerings like honey, tobacco or cachaça are said to receive her protection and prosperity. On the other hand, those who cut down trees or hunt recklessly face her wrath. For example, a hunter from long ago was said to be chased for days by echoing laughter in the forest until he abandoned his hunt, swearing never to return. More than a legend, Comadre Fulozinha embodies the strength of nature and its ability to give back. She reminds us that the forest is not just a resource, but a living entity, inhabited by forces that demand respect. Those who care for it find harmony, those who destroy it face its consequences. So, as you walk through the forests under her protection, the best advice is, listen to the silence, respect the signs, and never forget that Comadre is always watching, deciding whether you are worthy to be there. There is something both unsettling and fascinating about the tales of Comadre Fulozinha, the enigmatic guardian of the northeastern forests. Those who cross her path recount encounters that oscillate between haunting and enchanting, leaving permanent marks on their memories and sometimes even on their bodies. Her presence is heralded by a sharp whistle that seems to come from all directions at once. Some say this sound is a warning, others believe it is a challenge for the unwary. On quiet nights, her laughter echoes in the distance, testing the courage of those who dare to enter her domain. The accounts vary, but they all share one common thread: the certainty that Comadre is always present. A logger from a small village swore he felt invisible hands tugging at his tool as he tried to cut down an ancient tree. He gave up immediately, and when he returned the next day, he found the trunk intact, as if it had never been touched. Another local tells of attempting to hunt in the forest, only to be followed by small, light footprints that mysteriously vanished after just a few steps. His arrogance was punished when he woke the next morning with small scratch marks on his skin, as if the forest itself had left its signature. Not all encounters with Comadre are punitive, however. There are stories of people who earned her protection by respecting nature and acknowledging her presence. A farmer, known for tending to his crops with devotion and never cutting down a tree unnecessarily, recounted that during a fierce storm, he heard the characteristic whistle of Comadre. Shortly after, he noticed that his home was spared while strong winds destroyed everything around it. To him, it was a clear sign of gratitude from the forest's guardian. Despite the warnings and punishments, there is something almost hypnotic about Comadre Fulozinha's figure, inspiring both fear and admiration. Her name is spoken with respect, her rules strictly followed by those who know the stories. She is living proof that the forest has eyes and that its balance cannot be disturbed without consequences. Amidst frightening and miraculous accounts, Comadre becomes more than a legend. She is the symbol of nature's mystical power, an entity that for many is not just imaginary, but a real and eternal presence, watching every step taken within her domain. If you've made it this far, I want to thank you for being part of this moment. Now it's your turn. Share your opinion in the comments because we want to know if you've heard this story before. And don't stop here. There's a special video popping up on your screen right now. Click and watch because I've prepared something amazing just for you. See you there.